Ready to roll. We're here in beautiful Poway, California. I'm on the Harley Davidson Lowrider S. This is a brand new bike. You saw it last time. I gotta say, this seat is something else. My fat boy seat is a pain. This is softer and gives you a little bit of tailbone support, which is nice. My friend here is on the S1000R. He did want to try a Ducati Monster, but they wouldn't let him ride it. Which is a huge problem. You have to be able to ride these bikes to make your decisions. But anyway, on the Lowrider S, initial impressions, the seat is very soft. Very comfortable. You're in command of this bike. I'm sitting very upright, very neutral position. For reference, I'm 6'2", around 200 pounds, a little bit lanky in the arms and legs. Your feet are just under you, not to the point of being behind you like the S1000 in front of me, but you know, enough so you can stand up pretty good like this, you know, get off a bump, which I like. It gives you a lot of control. I like using my feet when I ride, and it you know, there's a big difference between these Dynas and the Softails. I mean, I don't think you'd really want to be riding the Softail like that anyway, just based upon the weight and what it's for. But yeah, I'm at low RPM right now, and when you sit on the bike, a lot of vibration. You can see the handlebars. Look at the mirror. My mirror on the Fat Boy doesn't do this sort of shake, but it is on this. As the RPMs increase, though, the bike smooths out, so it encourages you to rev it, which is very interesting for a Harley. In my limited experience, of course. Some of you gentlemen, I'm sure, have a lot more experience than I do on these bikes. But I find it interesting how this bike actually goes you to rev it, because it finds a smooth spot at a higher RPM, which we will we'll find later on the road exactly where that is. However, I'm thinking that it's somewhere between 3,000 and 4,000 RPMs. I'm not so used to this bike, but it feels surprisingly capable. There goes Sean, digging into the power a little bit. But yeah, the sensation puts you, it really gives you a sensation of command. I can just tell where my feet are. They're up higher. You can see my knees, 6'2", long-legged, 34-inch inseam. Look at my knee. I'm going to look down really quickly. The knee is maybe an inch or two under the top of the tank. You know, it's not uncomfortable. It gives you a command sensation. Whoa, that torque really... That torque just threw me back there for a second. Coming up the S1000R, you're not used to such abrupt torque. It's a lot of fun, though. It really is. Woo! Look at that. I mean, the bike is so much lighter than that Fat Boy I'm riding, 750 pounds. I do not know the weight on this motorcycle, but I will put it in the description. And you can see I'm jerking after. It's very interesting going from one extreme bike to the next. The torque is throwing me around in this thing. I think the torque is somewhere in the territory of 115 pound-foot. You know, give or take 5 or so. I understand it actually has more than the Fat Boy S. The BMW S1000R in front of me is somewhere between 80 and 85. Yeah, see, with the RPMs trip up there, the bike smooths out. All those vibrations disappeared. It goats you between 3,000 and 4,000 RPM. Interesting. Yeah, over 3,000. Look at this vibration now. I don't know if you can make a comparison, but there's hardly any vibration in the mirrors right now. Right there, right on 4,000 is the smoothest spot. It's very, very interesting. Listen to that. This is all stock in terms of the motor and exhaust too. It's got a nice kick to it, nice growl. Certainly feels faster than the Fat Boy S, obviously, because of less weight. the torque and the power on the Fat Boy S is more of a smooth thrush from behind. It feels as if someone is gently but consistently hurling you forward. Where on this bike, you get more of a snap. It's definitely more of a snap. It will throw you off more quickly than the Fat Boy S, and I suspect the Softail Slim S. Now it'd be nice to hear Sean's opinion of the S1000R. This would be a bit of a dual topic video. How does a guy that's a long time Harley rider feel when he hops onto a BMW S1000R for the first time? I think he's having a good time up there. But we'll try to stay focused on this lowrider in the meantime. And one thing I was doing here with these gears was I'm trying to two-finger the gears. These Harleys, especially, use the whole hand on that clutch. Here's Sean, he's a good man getting to that right side, expecting someone's going to come with the tail here. Yeah, this bike, it encourages you to move. It's more frustrating on this bike to be in slow traffic. Not because it doesn't do this quite well, but because it really wants to move. The brakes on this actually feel quite similar to the Softails. I'm gonna have to give it a hard stop at the next light so I can give you some more feedback on that. We talked about positioning, you know, for if you're anywhere between, I don't know, 5'4" and my height, you're just gonna hop on this. This is good for any type of rider. I'm sure you can shift the foot pegs around to suit your own needs. But you're gonna jump right on this bike and feel comfortable right away. Mirrors are the same as the Fat Boy. They're great, they're solid mirrors, they have good coverage, good size, and then they have pretty good looks as well. This cowl that you see in front of me, this thing here, that works, that does something. That's taking a lot of wind off my face. And to some degree off my upper chest. That makes a definite difference. Yeah, this is different. It wants you to push it a little bit. You can't get it mixed up. This is not a sport bike, so anybody looking to set lap records, you're just on the wrong page. What it is a very versatile bike that you can cruise up and down the boulevard for, run and get a coffee, take to work, take it back out here and have a great time, and have the bike encourage you to push it harder out here, which is what makes it very special in my opinion for a cruiser. It wants you to work it, and it wants you to turn. It wants to be in a corner, and that's encouraging. Here we go. So we're gonna red light it very quickly though, because it's still pretty new, so we're gonna be easy on the bike. But look at Sean. So yeah, this thing rips. It takes off. You can see the cars behind me. You will leave traffic. Like I said, all that low end torque, it launches you right up the line, and the seat is extremely cushioned. It's an interesting combination of soft yet supportive, meaning my butt doesn't want to slide back even when I nail it. I was concerned about that, but it just doesn't want to slide back on me. So let's do some low RPM cruising stuff. So we're currently at 3,000 RPM. And this kind of bike, it should be comfortable at 2,000 RPM with good pull. It shouldn't bog down on me. We're at 2,200. We're gonna let it drop a little lower. All right, now take up at 2,200. There we go, you get the rip. You can see the acceleration, look at the camera, look straight ahead. It takes off. Sean's really going for it now. We'll try to catch up to him. I can say obviously the suspension on this bike is very nice for this kind of road where the pavement is somewhat unreliable. You compare it to a super naked like Sean's on right there, and it's not going to be comparable because the super naked is going to be pretty rough. He's also on a bike without the automatic suspension, so that's an unfortunate turn. There's first gear. We're just putting along here. Once again, you get the vibration, you're gonna feel it. You know, I think it's kind of cool if you can feel it the way you do, because that means you're in town, you're going slowly, you're not getting stimulation from speed or cornering or anything like that. And when you do, the bike's sort of giving you a little bit back. It's giving you some movement, giving you some stimulation, pulsing through you. So yeah, it's a good reason why this kind of motorcycle is very good in low speed situations. It has a lot of character to it, you know, when you're doing that sort of trolling riding. And there's certainly no discomfort here. Still doing that, chugging along, second gear, about 1800 RPMs, not bogging down, it's moving me along pretty good. We got the standard Harley grips on here, which are actually much narrower than the grips on the Fat Boy. I know you guys can see this here, but the circumference is clearly different. I like a smaller circumference grip. I mean, my hands are, yeah, I guess on the average to larger side. Usually the gloves I wear are large, whatever that means, American fit large. And I just feel like I have more control. I'd rather have a little bit of overlap as opposed to feel like I'm gripping, you know, a telephone pole. But it is a Fat Boy, so things are fat. So once again, this does have the upgraded suspension, both front and rear. They call it the premium suspension. And, you know, in terms of componentry is involved, I can't tell you exactly what that means, but they do a fine job. And I'd actually need another bike, you know, a regular Softail, to do a direct comparison. Otherwise, it's just empty words and placebo effect, as we know. But I can say that it's doing an admirable job for the type of motorcycle this is, and part of what makes this bike a nice hybrid for fun cruising. Put a seat on the back of this guy, 2-up riding, all of that. You can see the bike doing some vibrations when I'm sitting still. This is probably a better demonstration. You can see the tank moving around here. High flow intake. That thing is very pretty. All done in gloss black. The intake tubing, the brake pedal. Interestingly enough, it doesn't have a rubber pad on it. It's gloss black. Does a good job of smoothing out some of these sharp imperfections at a faster pace. Very comfortable. Probably get a little more spirit in the corners up here. We'll see how it does. Fourth gear, doing about 60 miles an hour. Approaching a decent corner. Leans in pretty easily. It's very smooth, very predictable. Oh yeah, it likes it. See, this got a pace. Spirited riding, I think, is the perfect term. It's good at that. We were rolling a Fat Boy and this side by side the other day. This thing just dusts the Fat Boy just because of the corners. Fat Boy just those footboards. I don't think I'm surprising any out here who know what a Fat Boy is. But just for comparison, does it shine in real life? And the answer is, of course, yes. I mean, a standard dyno, anything dyno will walk away as long as the engine sizes are comparable, in the corners in particular. And once again, I can't tell you what the difference is moment to moment between a non-S and an S version of this bike, but I can say it's very satisfying, very comforting, confidence inspiring as well. So what's the difference between this and a bike that, like the one in front of me, is super naked? Well, a lot of it is, you know, the degree of power, the power curve and characteristics, and, you know, the positioning. This position, I think you could ride on literally all day. Not that the super nakeds aren't comfortable, many of them are, but the seating and just, you know, how upright you are, and this is just meant to sit on for a longer period of time. that's subjective, of course. How quickly it turns in, I mean, the whole chassis is not derived from a race bike or a super bike. So it's not as twitchy and flippy and flickable. But you don't always want that. These are two very nice bikes to have in your garage, or bikes in these two categories, if not these two. Car out of the corner there. Nice. Cows are on the move today. They've got business to attend to. The time's the meeting, fellas. The brakes are pretty good here. It's got dual discs up front and a single disc up in the rear. I don't get as much dive on this as I did in the Softail models, both S's on a test drive. Probably a weight thing and a suspension thing more than a braking thing, and certainly get the job done. It doesn't leave me wanting for anything. They don't have a tremendous bite like a sports bike does in terms of that initial crazy grab, but I really don't want that in this bike. I want things to be a little more gradual. I want everything to fit and coalesce. Meaning I want the engine not to be as insane. The brakes I want to be extremely effective, but not bite and be like a super bike brakes. It's not what this is about. And same with the suspension. I want it to control me, but I don't want me to throw it off the saddle. I don't want to get tossed like a bull because it's so stiff and so capable of being rock solid under the forces of a really high G curve. The brakes are just in line with the bike, and it works extremely well with all the other components. It's just a lot of fun. It's an awesome all-rounder. If your priority, or if your priorities involve character, more so than absolute speed or absolute lean angle, but you want a character, you want to buy something American or something that has more of an image to it, something with a long history, and you want an all-rounder to do everything, it raises a very interesting question. You can go from a touring bike to a super naked bike to a flat-out sports bike to a dual sport, and then you have something like this. They can all do everything. It really depends upon what aspects do you want to shine the most. And in this one, it's certainly character, style, history, and it is very competent all around. Fast speed, low speed, corners, straight. Gas mileage is pretty good. It's got the power to wake you up and throw you back. I'm sure to leave a ton of rubber on the ground if you put it through it. You have all the accessories available in the vast Harley catalog. You can turn it into your own. This one already has the black wheels on it. If you want something different, you want something special, and you're willing to pay about 16 grand for it, I would definitely take a look at this bike. And you know, those of you out there who have put yourself in a category of just super nakeds, or things like the Kawasaki Versas, things that are a bit more sedate, it's a very comfortable bike. So throw this in there. If you're going to spend a lot of money, go for your test rides. Of course, if this is something that's good, it's expensive. And I personally, direct to direct, I'm sure another company could build a bike similar to this for a cheaper price. It's not exactly what it's about. But if that's the most important thing to you, I don't think you'd be looking at this bike in the first place. The Harley Davidson Lowrider S. Not a disappointment. A whole lot of fun in an extraordinarily versatile package.